Hi, this is Anne DeMarie, and I'm reaching out to my homeschool base of moms just to let you know what my schedule is for this school year. I know that I have been doing classical conversations for 8 years, but this year I am not actually doing it. I've decided to at least hold off on doing that curriculum. I might pick it up again at a future date, but right now, after 8 years of it, I think we're just needing a break. We need something different. And I loved it. I loved it for myself, really, because I love the music. But I think that we need just more structure. I need my kids out of the house a little bit more. And just with all of my other circumstances in life, it just seems like the right time to allow myself to rest a little bit. And I haven't had that in a very long time. So I do also want to say that while I have really enjoyed CC, I have also had my gripes with it, specifically because not all of my children were enrolled in that program at the same time. All of them were in it at one point or another, but because I couldn't put all of my children in at the same time because I had, different learning, abilities, and not all of them fit the challenge program very well. So I decided to put them in a brick and mortar. But because I did that, at no point was I ever invited to tutor, despite all of my, creativity and desire to, make the YouTube music and just come up with like creative ideas. They never I even went in onto a Zoom call with the SR and was open to doing something on more of the corporate level, and they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me do it because not all my kids were in the program, and I just felt really slighted and offended because I have a large family, and you can't punish people, and clearly they have a need, but I just don't fit the bill because not all of my kids are in it. So I have a big problem with that, given all the years I've committed. I mean, I've been in this program and was in it for 3 years, and a new mom came in. They needed a tutor. I said, can I do it? They said no, and they gave the job to this brand new mother who didn't know a thing about the program. And, when there's that kind of obvious stupidity in a program with sort of these policies, there's a side of me that just doesn't put up with BS. And that's a big trigger for me. So that's also driving me a little bit in this because this whole last year I wanted to sub. I was never invited. And just year after year after year of not being called upon to participate in the community, I'm just feeling, okay, like I am at this point with CC, like an elder, as you would call, I've been in with it enough. Anyway, that's my gripe with it. So the fact that they don't appreciate me. That said, CC is still very good for many people, and I recommend it still to this day. So instead, though, I am doing a hybrid co-op twice a week for my kids. And you know what? I have no shame in saying that. I feel like I have given everything to my kids, and I'm burning out. And what matters more? Them to have a frustrated mom or them to have a happy mom, and I feel like, okay, I'm not going to be with them all the time, and maybe somebody else is going to teach differently, or they'll be around kids that I'm not especially keen on them being around, and I'll have to deal with those, situations that arise. But on the other hand, I can't protect my kids forever from everything. And honestly, even at our house, we have our issues. Like, people are difficult. You're going to have to deal with the human condition at some point or another. And for my own sake, I'm just like at the breaking point. So if you're one of those moms that feels such guilt about going and doing something that isn't 100% homeschool, please allow yourself to go in a direction where you might actually give yourself some joy and some relief, because homeschooling is hard, as you probably know. And, I can talk about every book and, all the workbooks and curriculum and all that. At the end of the day, you have to be happy, So I've learned that the hard way, because I wasn't. In many of my videos, I look so incredibly tired because I am so incredibly tired. I've had sleeping issues and health issues, and I just, God's put a lot on my plate. I'm still dealing with the loss of my son, and, there's just so many things that I can't carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. So I hope that I can encourage any of you moms struggling out there to understand it's okay to supplement yourself with other resources if you need to. So anyhow, that's what we're doing. I also have my older child doing a dual enrollment program, not through CC, but through a local college, and working to get on her college credits. She should have at least 15 by the end of this year. And I have another boy who I am putting into public school, which I hope to God is not something I regret, but nothing else is working. We were going to put him in boarding school, and that completely fell through. And, when I see sort of like God shutting the door, I'm looking at my alternatives, and really that's it. He's a tougher student. So, I'm sure people would condemn me for it or judge me, and honestly, I would probably do that myself, but I need to remember that God can work through all things, even, we're in desperate times, awfully desperate, and I said to him, because he's in high school, he has to choose to be a follower of Christ no matter where he is. I can't force him to do that, and I've been giving him everything I can possibly give him. So it's like, okay, who do you want to be? I found Christ through the most awful of circumstances that I put myself in. And, it was through that I was humbled, and I was at rock bottom, and I was on my knees begging him to help me. So, unfortunately, I have to understand that God can use all things for good. And, as a mother, we pray for our children, and we trust that God's going to guide them, like St. Monica and St. Augustine. It's the same thing. She prayed and prayed for her son, and look at him, doctor of the church. And I have that same kind of trust that God will do that for me and my kids. So anyway, with all of that, I just wanted to kind of, again, touch base with my audience, my homeschooling mom audience, or whoever else is out there listening to me. I've just also been dealing with a lot of health issues, and but the schooling thing has been driving me absolutely crazy. And anyway, that's what we're deciding to do. So we've got kids in a few different places this year, but I'm giving it to God, and entrusting it to my patron saints and Our Lady, and the rest is up to God. So that's all we can do. But anyway, let me know what you guys are doing out there. If you have anything different, or if you have questions for me, I'm really happy to interact with all of you guys out there. So drop me a note. All right. God bless you. Bye.